How's it going? Dave from Comic Book Investments. So today in this video, I'm going to show you 25 CGC graded 9.8s that are under $250. So yes, these will all be graded 9.8. This is what you can get them for. So all under $250. So a lot of cool keys in here. All right, let's get into it. All right. Here we got Man-Thing, Volume 2, Number 1. And this is the origin retold. And he had his first series after he appeared in Adventure in the Fear, number 10, I believe it was. And then he later appeared in his own first series that ran for a little bit. And then they revamped him. And this was Volume 2. And a 9.8 recently sold for $123. So yeah, I personally like Man-Thing. I think he's a cool looking character. So kind of has like a Swamp Thing vibe, which Swamp Thing and Man-Thing came from a character called the Heap, which appeared in the 40s or 50s. And I believe it was in Air Fighters, something like that. So very old character. And the Heap actually looked very similar to Man-Thing's little like three, I don't know what those are. Things on his face. All right. Next up, we got Dazzler, number 1. Dazzler, number 1. Now, this is interesting. Back then, most comics were sold in like newsstands, right? You go in your grocery store, you'd have like a newsstand where you pick up your newspaper, stuff like that. And they would have comics. And they would... But, you know, towards the 80s, and even the 70s, that's when comic shops started popping up. So they would buy them direct, and that's what they're called, like the direct edition. Sometimes they'd have a little Spider-Man logo down here in the corner instead of like a little scannable UPC code. And so they would go straight to the comic shops, and people would come into the comic shops and buy them. This comic was the first direct-only Marvel comic book. So that means you could not buy this on the newsstand. It was direct only. That's why I had no little square rectangle UPC code or anything like that in the bottom, because it was only direct. And recently a 9.8 sold for $105. All right, next we got Totally Awesome Hulk number 22. This is the first appearance of Weapon H. This is where they merged basically Wolverine and Hulk together to make basically another weapon, right? And a 9.8 runs you around $150. Next, we got Spider-Man 328. This is a Todd McFarlane cover. People love Todd McFarlane's run. This is like his classic run that started, you know, back, pretty much started like 298, but really... I think it really started in like the 300s, because like the 298 and stuff like that, I feel like he hadn't really gotten into his stride, like art-wise. I feel like he was still trying to do what looked like the previous artist before. So as it went on, I feel like Todd McFarlane's style became more apparent. This 9.8 you can pick up for about $197. The original art for this sold many years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago. And at the time, it was the most expensive art piece ever sold when it sold, which is crazy to think. It was like 600 and something thousand for the original art to this. All right, next we got Batman the Killing Joke. This is a classic story and a 9.8. First printing, yes, first printing you can get for $250. That's pretty good. There are a lot of 9.9s and 10.0s of this, but still a very iconic looking cover, and yeah. Next we got The Thing, number 1. And The Thing, this is like his first solo series on his own. He had Marvel 2-in-1, but that was with him and another character. But you can pick up a 9.8 of this for about $230. Next, we got The Death of Superman. Superman number 75. 9.8 is going to run you about $180. I remember when this book came out, it was a big, big deal. And that's when people would just flood the comic stores thinking that this was going to be like the new Fantasy 15 or something like that. But now it's crazy. I mean, what did this cost? $1.25 new. Now it's $180. Next, we got Infinity Gauntlet #1. This is the first issue of the limited series. This became super popular, especially during when Thanos was still in the MCU. But a 9/8 you can get for $241. Very cool cover as well. Next, we got Avengers 684. And this is the first appearance of the Immortal Hulk, which later he went and did his own series, which I believe is still ongoing. Very popular series, and a 9/8 is going to run you $160. Next, we got Walking Dead 27. This is the first appearance of the Governor and a couple other people. A 9/8 is going to run you about $250. Walking Dead has kind of, lost a lot of its luster because as the series came to an end, it ended with 193. I believe at least the main series, the TV show is done. I think they have like some spin-off stuff, but it's nowhere near as popular as it once was, maybe like 5 years ago. A lot of the Walking Deads took a massive hit because of that, but I've seen that they've slowly started coming back up in value. Next, we got Deadpool #1. This is Deadpool's first solo series. It's also the first appearance of SLAYBACK. He had multiple different series. He had this one, and then he had another one a year later. I think this one's 93, then he had one in 94, and then he had one in 97. Many times trying to get him. They're trying to find his footing. He wasn't like the Deadpool that you know him today. So it took a while for him to kind of get his footing. But a 9/8 of this is going to be about $180. Next, we got Spider-Man 293. This is like a 6-part classic storyline of Spider-Man with Craven, and this one was the first one that's in Amazing Spider-Man, and a 9/8 is going to run you about $123. Moving on, we got New Mutants 100, even though it has a dollar sign, but number 100. This is the first cameo of X-Force, the first Shatterstar. The X-Force, after this, they went on to their own series. And a 9/8 is going to run you about $67, so not too bad. Next, we got Wonder Woman #1. This is the second volume, the start of a series. They revamped her origin. They changed a lot of things. George Perez did a lot of this art. But basically, they kind of looked at Wonder Woman and kind of got rid of some of the stuff that wasn't working in the past with the Golden Age Wonder Woman, and then kind of revamped everything. And that's kind of like more the storyline you see that's in the DC movies is more akin to this one. And a 9/8 is going to run you about $113. And these are all, I tried to get most recent sales, so they're all around July. Next, we got X Factor #1. It's the start of the series. It's the first appearance of Cameron Hodge. Now, this book probably run you about $189 and 9/8. This was a pretty popular book back when it first came out as well. Yeah. Next, we also have another X Factor. This is X Factor 5. It's the first cameo appearance of Apocalypse. The next issue, he was more of a full appearance, but this one's a cameo appearance. The full appearance is much more expensive, but you can still pick up the cameo appearance of him, and a 9/8 is going to run you about $170. Next, we got Spider-Man 362, and that is the second appearance of Carnage. He appeared in 361. He had some cameo appearances prior, but this is his second full appearance, and a 9/8 is going to run you about $180. And the cool thing about this cover is you get all three. So you got Venom, Carnage, and Spider-Man all together, all done by Mark Bagley. Next up, we got Batman 442. This is the first appearance of Tim Drake as Robin. So in the Robin costume, all that kind of stuff. If you look down below, you can kind of see Nightwing in the bottom corner along with Alfred, and on the other side you got Batman. So pretty cool cover. A 9.8 is going to run you about $94. And Tim Drake was the third Robin. There's Dick Grayson, and then Jason Todd, who died, and then was Tim Drake. Next, we got Spider-Man 2099, number 1. And this is the origin of Spider-Man 2099. And there's some talks of him possibly being in the new Edge of the Spider-Verse TV show, or sorry, not TV show, movie. But a 9.8 is going to run you about $150. Next, we got Venom, Lethal Protector number 1. This is Venom's first solo series, and a 9.8 is going to run you about $141. There's many different variants of this one. There's a variant where the red foil didn't get printed, and so it's kind of black looking, and that one's pretty expensive. But the most expensive one is the one where the black and the red didn't get printed, so it's all white. There's only a couple covers like that, but that's very expensive. Next, we got X-Men number 1, the special edition. I remember when this book came out, I bought this new. And so the cool thing about this one is this one had 4 different covers, and you could open it up, and it was kind of like a poster. So this one had all the 4 cover variants, or you could get each cover by itself. This one, a 9.8, is going to run you about $90. Is the start of the new X-Men, and yeah, with Jim Lee and all that kind of stuff. All right, next we got up is Spider-Man number 1, the Silver Edition. And this is the start of the series, classic cover by Todd McFarlane. They made different versions of this. They had a gold one. They had a gold one that was sold only in Walmart and had the little UPC code down on the bottom. They had a green cover, and then they had the platinum cover. And yeah, and the platinum cover is pretty expensive as well. I think the platinum is actually the most expensive. Then it's the gold with the UPC code and so on. A 9.8 of this is going to run you about $86, maybe $100, so not that bad. Next, we have Spider-Man 856. This is an extremely hot book right now. They made many, many different printings of this. They also do this legacy number, which means the Spider-Man 856, but it's also Spider-Man 55 in the new series that they're running. And a 9.8 of this is going to run you about $64 for the first printing. Next, we got Spawn number 1. This is the first appearance of Spawn. I put this on list before, but I think this is a really good pickup. A 9.8 is going to run you about $223. Obviously, this was kind of the flagship of Image, and with Todd McFarlane's Spawn, who's still making comics today on Spawn. So that's very cool. And then finally, we got Batman 497. And this is the classic cover of Bane breaking Batman's back. A 9.8 is going to run you about $75. Very cool. Kelly Jones had a very unique art style. Everyone's muscles everywhere, just bulging out everywhere. He's very interesting style. I've come to appreciate his style more over time. Kind of has like a Sam Keith style to him. But yes, so that's pretty much it. That's 25 keys, all in 9.8, CGC 9.8 grades, all you can get for under $250. I think are really cool keys to have, especially in 9.8s. I would recommend getting most of these books in 9.8 if you can. I think it's more worth it in the end to have these books as 9.8. But all right, I hope you like this video. Thanks.